I think Josh Hawks has been one of the players that has grown this year. At the beginning of the year, I thought he was, for want of a better word, a little bit soft in League Two, but that was perfectly understandable considering where he's come from the under-23 game. So it's been really good to see him grow and develop and take ownership in matches, and he is becoming a bit of a leader on the pitch. And he's one of those really that as a Tranmere fan you look at, and you when you see them play a few good matches, your first thought as the pessimist that we are is, oh, how long is he going to be here for? Because I think next year, he's our top scorer this year. If we add to the team and add to the squad, he could have a really good year for us.
Yeah, I've been really impressed myself with Hawks as well. I think just going back to the penalties, actually, I was a bit surprised when you consider the game against Wimbledon at home, Hemmings missed a spot kick there as well, didn't he? And then he also missed it against Crawley, whereas with Hawks, I mean, yesterday he did the classic Aldo shuffle when he ran up for the penalty. So he's a man clearly, confident on the ball. I feel he's getting into some great positions as well. And like Phil said, I've got in the back of my mind, well, he's out of contract next summer. So are we going to cash in on him this summer, or are we going to try and build, the side around him and others next year? And I'd certainly like for it to be the latter, because, he is an exciting player. He's one of them get you off the edge of your seats kind of player. For myself, I kind of feel, just going back a few years, if I can hear, I kind of remember Paul Hall, on the wing. We love our wingers at Prenton Park, Pat Nevin, Mogsy, even Dave Beresford, actually, I'm going to throw in there. I remember him. He kind of had me excited. But Hawks is like that kind of player. He wants to get on the ball. He wants to get us forward. And like Phil said, he's an absolute joy to watch.
I think he's someone who's certainly come on leaps and bounds. I would argue he is one of only a couple of players who perhaps benefited from the change of system since the change of manager came in, because he does seem to get on the ball a little bit more. To go back to that penalty you mentioned against Wimbledon as well, I still think that missed penalty from Kane Hemmings in that game was the turning point of Tranmere's season. It just seemed to collapse from there on in when they had the momentum in that game and could have taken something out of it. But back to this one, the other goal was a Rhys Hughes free kick. You can look at it two ways here. The goalkeeper's done absolutely horrendous because he's completely left one side of his goal open, and he's basically told Rhys Hughes where to put the ball, and he's still moved to his left as the ball has come into the box. But then Rhys Hughes has equally spotted where the space is and put it in the top corner from quite a long way out. So you can either be a glass half full or glass half empty, or maybe even both. Either way, it's great technique and a great finish.
Yeah, and he's definitely got that, hasn't he? I think I think Rhys Hughes again is somebody that we picked up in the summer, who has come on. It looks like he's benefited from his loan period away. The last few games he seems to be getting on the ball more. He's got that Everton style where he looks one pass further, I think, than some of the other players, if that makes sense. I think that's just the way that they're kind of brought up in that Premier League under-23 world. So exciting to see how he develops. But I think from the free kick point of view, he's still got to put it there, and he puts it there in the right place. If there's you can't take anything away from him for that. So yeah, but I mean, the keeper's positioning would probably be something they'd be looking at on Monday morning when they get in. He'd probably have quite a difficult time explaining that. But it was a great free kick. Great to see a free kick in front of the Kop going again. We haven't seen one of those for a while. So yeah, good, really good stuff from him. And he's another one exciting for next year too. I think Rhys Hughes can be a really good player. A little bit like Josh Hawks in a way. I think he is at the stage that Hawks was maybe at 12 months ago, in that he gets caught on the ball every now and again, and some of his tracking back will improve over the next season. But an exciting prospect, and I'm going to go with a glass half full. And then it was a good free kick into the space that the goalkeeper had left, yeah, I'll give Rhys Hughes all the plaudits for that.
I'm going to have a little bit of that glass half full action myself as well, because think back to the goal he got. Own goal against Harrogate, he still swung in that kind of free kick, a couple more inches to the other side, and it goes in off the post instead of in off the back of the keeper's head. So like Phil said, we definitely know he's got that about him, and he's benefited like Charlie Jolly did by going away to Chester. I feel we need to utilise that kind of loan market a little bit better, perhaps with some of the younger players that that we've got. But he's definitely one who he is exciting, isn't he? On the ball, he could probably do with beefing up a little bit though. I know sometimes he does kind of get like knocked off it, but he's got a bit of height about him. He's confident on the ball. He's comfortable on the ball. And I guess he's one as well that's probably benefited since the change of manager. You know, he's obviously kind of been brought back in, you could argue, from that loan spell, full of confidence, and he's kind of, you know, hit the ground running. Let's hope if he gets, you know, a full proper pre-season behind him as well with us and with the lads this summer, he could certainly be one for the future, like Phil said.